Hyderabad also. With these words, I conclude. Thank you, sir.
धन्यवाद श्रीमती सुप्रिया सुले जी.
Sir, I stand here to support the National Anti-Doping Bill 2021. Sir, I think sports is something that should be above all politics. And I think that's what we all thrive on. And that's the only reason I support this bill wholeheartedly. Because education should be on merit, sports should be also on merit. And this entire organization of sports must be autonomous. And I hope that this government will make sure that this entire committee that they have come up with a lot of recommendations as the selection mechanism of the national board would be completely autonomous. And I hope the Honorable Minister in his reply would tell us what would be the selection process and who would be the right person for the job. I appreciate the work that this government has done in Khelo India. And actually this entire bill is a legacy bill. Like Mehtabji, when you spoke earlier today, you clearly mentioned that this is a process started in 1999 and further continued to 2005. And doping is something which has unfortunately occurred in a sport, which is something completely new because of the new availability of drugs that are available now. What happens actually is the life of any sportsman is very, very short. It's highly competitive and it's very, very short. So everybody wants to peak at a point where they can really benefit their own career, their coach, a lot of social family pressures. And there was a time in India where sports wasn't a career option. When we were growing up, it wasn't an option. People wanted to study. If somebody did well in sports, the families would say, "Padhai karo, ye khelna kudna baad mein ho jayega." But fortunately, the game has changed today. And there are a lot of people who choose to make careers in sports. And sometimes they're not even informed about the drug that they could be taking. In your own speech, Honorable Sir, you mentioned about a cream that had a drug, which was the player was not even aware of it. So there are combinations. So I think what's most important in this doping bill is the awareness program. So if you could combine Khelo India with information. Khelo India is not only about enhancing your performance, but in Khelo India, could you find and make sure that people are even taught about what doping is, what are the consequences of doping, what are the do's and the don'ts, and counseling about winning and losing. Because sports is not only about winning. It's a team game which is about discipline and good performance and trying your best. It's not always important to come first. So I think if you could include Khelo India into this doping business, because I mean the lead speaker Manoj Tiwari ji talked about a lot of Delhi issues that we are. I appreciate where he's coming from, but this doping is not doping what is in common language. This doping is medical doping. That's what I understand. That's why this bill is for. And what do sports people join in? They are not smoking and drinking. Sports is a very, very noble, very competitive and disciplined job. It's almost like being in the army. The Honorable Minister himself has been a sportsman, so I am sure he understands what kind of hard work goes into becoming a high-performance sportsman or a sportswoman. But I would request him that let's take this very seriously. This is not a singing match. This is a very important and a serious debate and a bill for India. It helps every child because Khelo India has become a very inspirational program. And I'm glad, I would like to put it on record that my friend Kiran Rijiju, also who's a minister, Anurag Thakur, now takes that same work ahead. I would compliment both of them because you both really encourage the youth by putting some very nice things on Instagram which actually encourage youngsters to be good sportsmen. And what does any mother, I'm a mother, I'm more than happy when my child is a sportsman and is playing competitive sports because he learns good discipline, he learns what teamwork is, and you keep your child away from all addictions because he has to sleep on time, he has to eat on time, and that's all his performance is dependent on. So I think doping should be shamed. The way like we work against tobacco, we work against drugs. So why can't we make a national program which is integrated in Khelo India for doping and make it a serious effect? It's not about what you did in governance or what is. Sports is above politics. I appreciate somebody's praising Manmohan Singh ji from this side and Modi ji from that side. But I think these wins and losses are not of governments. They are of these hard-working sports people who put a lot of their lives ahead and their families who endlessly support them. So I think the sense of this house should be not NDA versus UPA in a sports debate. It should be about the sports person and the sportsman spirit which unites this country together, be it a cricket match, a football match, a basketball or a kabaddi match. So I think that's what this debate is to be, a very, very serious debate. I would like to make some suggestions to the Honorable Minister. I won't repeat the points of minor and major. I would like to recommend one thing about the therapeutic use exemption. This is in the WADA court, where prohibited medication lists must be there and a standing SOPs have to be there. What are the standing operating procedures that you would like? Penalties, Mehtabji has already spoken about, so I won't go back to it. But I would like to talk about, do we really have doping testing labs? It's a great thing. Everybody's asking for one. We must have them. Can we integrate them again in your camps of Khelo India? Could the awareness program, what doping is, plus testing, the random testing that we do, you probably do it in your camps. But can this, do we have enough technicians for this also? So I think that's something we need to look at. All states, I'm not sure even the state I come from has enough technicians for normal testing. So this is a very technical job. So what are you doing specially for this kind of technical who we need very high performing people? And I think the dream of any India is to have a dope-free sports person. Sir, you talked about Duti Chand. Now look at her as a case. Her case was nothing but a high testosterone level, which she had no control over. So she was not taking an extra drug. She has done nothing. We fought it. Your good offices helped it. The then minister helped it.
It was a biological thing.
Exactly, it's a biological thing. So what happens in such cases? So I think if we integrate all our programs of Khelo India, which is done everywhere, in all these programs integrated, I think that really would create an impact. And the nutritional support. Nutrition is something I would like to talk about, because nowadays there are so many powders which are even available off the shelf. Children are ordering them online and they think it's a protein supplement, it enhances your energy. So I think this is something the government needs to work on, and the sports ministry must take help from the health department, because, and chemical and fertilizers department, because these things need to be flagged because they are available very easily on Amazon. So how are you going to control this? There's a new trend of a lot of gyms. There are a lot of sports people who go to gyms, and that's when they get introduced to all these kind of tablets which they don't know, which are even banned. So I would like to bring this to the notice of the Honorable Minister, that your intent may be very good. I appreciate it, to bring a dope-free sport in India. But if you make some interventions, take people in confidence, take other departments, because sporting departments is not only yours, because this is a very complicated plan, and you must, all these new things of which are available on Amazon as an example, or online medications, there's no way you will be able to, there's a big dark net on which all these things are available. So how are you going to control all these dips? So if you could kindly in your reply give us a comprehensive solution, and we are happy to work with you by giving technical support through all the agencies possible to make sure we have a dope-free India and have great sportsmen which are not belonging to UPA or NDA, but belonging to a proud India, which I am very proud of. Thank you.
धन्यवाद सुप्रिया जी. Rajyavardhan Singh Rathod.